Welcome. My name is Juana.
And I'm Kelly.
I'm Morgan.
How's everyone doing today? Having a good day?
Yeah.
Good. Great. So we're really excited to present this to you because this is an awesome topic that's going to really help us through the duration of not only our little program here, but through the entire summer and your whole ASB semester, year. So what I want to introduce is values. So what we're going over is vision and values, and what I'm going to talk about first is what is a value. Can anyone tell me what they think a value is? Or yes.
It's a belief that's the driving force behind all interactions.
Totally. Very good.
Yeah.
So our job is done here. Anyone else have anything to add to that awesome definition?
Yeah.
No? Well, yeah, I really, really like that. And I think also about, so on page 133 in our notebooks, I just want to say what that definition is as well. Similar to what Selena said, it's a fundamental belief that an individual considers to be important that are relatively stable over time and that have an impact on attitudes and behaviors. So that being said, can anyone give me an idea of maybe what the purpose of having values would be? Yeah.
It kind of keeps you going towards the same direction with everybody. Like if you have similar values, and that means our goals should be similar and our ways to be there.
Definitely, and that's a great point that you bring up with goals, because as we did yesterday with the goals and our ground rules, it's like our goals really helped us, or our ground rules helped us set up what we were going to be doing for the rest of our time together to accomplish our goals. Anyone else have anything to add to that as to why we might have the purpose of having values? Okay. Why would it be important for a leader to know what their values are? Yeah.
Maybe when in crisis or like things come up, you know where you stand and like how to react to that appropriately.
Definitely. Yes.
It helps with efficient decision making. If you have a tough decision, but you have your values like clear in your head, you'll know your decision has to be.
And they're usually stable.
Yeah.
Like people will maybe be able to like direct or be sorry. People might be able to know what your next steps are because they know you really well and your values will align with who you are as a person. Yeah. Love it. Well, with all that being said, now that we have an idea of what a value is, forgot to tell you all to bring your binder, but if you need help referencing what values are, they're on page 139 in your booklet. But for now, I want us to separate into two groups, which you've already done. Great. And for this, we can all take a seat.
But actually, just to arrange, how about you three come over here, and then you three come over
Oh, perfect. Okay. Oh, yeah. Great. And in these two groups, I want you to discuss 2 to 3 values that the 3 of you have collectively that would be great for your ASB, and the 2 or 3 values that you all think would be great for your ASB for this year.
Service. I like service. Growth. Love it.
Is there like a word or just
Everybody should be.
Fantastic.
I know, but it's been a while.
Yeah. So like.
taking responsibility and
I like commitment.
I think that's a good one for our ASB.
and
Yes, right?
What do you mean by service?
Yeah.
Actually
Yeah.
doing service?
Oh,
or
this is
service?
how they're fighting.
Yes.
Self-committed.
Yeah,
Is it
service,
two
like you
E's?
mean,
Or-
yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. What she said.
I'm gonna say Kelly told me.
Well, it's cool that none of us know how to spell it, so none of us will know. But we'll all learn because it's on our binders. That's
Why you
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
I am too, like.
Yeah, it says it right. It's 1T, 2
Okay.
M's. Thank you. I didn't get any help from anyone.
No, like in your in our ASD and like outside of school, like in our ASD, like earlier shooters.
Okay, I'm gonna give you all, how are we doing on our values here? Okay, we're done?
Yeah. Yeah.
Done? Oh, I was gonna give you 30 seconds, but we don't need it? Okay, sounds good. So now what I want us to do is each group go ahead and tell the other group what your values were.
Would you like to start or would you like us to start?
We will start. So our values were that everybody is treated equally, taking responsibility for your job descriptions and your work, serve in leadership in that you do things because you want to, not because you are forced, because you chose to be in this position, and what's the last one? Inclusivity, yes, that everybody is included because we are all going to be together for a year, so we're all going to get along.
Yeah, those are awesome values.
Ours are service, growth, and commitment.
And all right, so interesting, but seems like we have some very similar values, which is something that we should really value within our organization and as a student body, because these things are what are going to help us get to our vision, which Kelly is going to talk to you about in a moment. But before we get there, collectively as a group, can we try to pick 4 values that we could write, one on each paper, as the 4 most important values that we can take for the rest of our year? I know there are only 4, we can have more later, but for the purpose of this activity, we're only going to pick 4. And it's really great because there is some overlap, so this might not be that difficult after all.
So since service and servant leadership are on
Yeah.
service.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, everyone feel equal and inclusivity, like
Yeah,
tied
I
into
like
the.
that.
And then I think we were, like, the way you framed taking responsibility is kind of how we framed commitment.
Yeah.
In terms of taking responsibility for being part of this group. So, I
Yeah.
find either word, I think there's that overlap right there.
Commitment, yeah, I like that.
I like commitment, yeah, we
Yeah.
like,
I feel like commitment's also a little bit more overarching, so you get to your goals
Yeah.
into the group, because it's a decision.
Growth, I think like growth. As a part of like ACE, you know, from where you start to where you end up.
Wanna agree on that?
Yeah.
well, yes.
If you need one extra, there is an extra piece of paper if you want the fifth one. If you feel good with these 4.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thumbs up? We're good? Awesome.
Great. So now with these values, I'm going to hand it over to Kelly, and she's going to discuss the next portion of this activity.
Okay, so perfect. So if we could actually take these 4 values and put them in a line right down there. And then we're going to get back up again. Perfect. All right, now as a group, we want to consider thinking about what is a vision. All right, so who can define vision for me? Yes.
Vision, it's what you see, like, what you're, like, I mean, I guess you could say, like, the process of, like, how things are going to work out.
Okay, you wanna-
Yeah, I see it like as a blueprint of what you guys want, or what we want to accomplish, or what we hope to see starting and then going on to the endpoint.
That's great. Anybody else have anything to add to that? That's pretty solid. That was good. Good teamwork there. So as a group now, we want to create a vision. So we have our values here. You can see it's visual, right? So we want to actually create a vision that we're going to put over here. But collectively, we're going to create that, okay, together. So we're going to brainstorm a little bit together and then write out a vision of where you want to see yourselves at the end of Summer Academy. So where do we want to go from? We have our values here, but our vision is we want to be able to get here. And so as a group, go ahead and create a vision. We're going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes to do so.
Yeah.
To clarify, are we doing this as an ASB or as our leadership and operations staff?
We are doing it as Lana mentioned earlier, we're doing it as an ASB.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll help you, I'll guide you along. So just start with what Selena and Ida's definitions were. So Selena, would you like to throw that out there again?
I said it's what we vision is like what we see, like what we think we want to accomplish towards the end. And
I said that it was a blueprint of what we're supposed to accomplish.
So I'm hearing an overlapping word. What was that overlapping word?
Accomplish.
What would you like to accomplish at the end for your ASB?
ASB for me ended only like 2 weeks ago.
You got that.
Okay, so I know as an ASB, like our main goal is mostly just to hold by the Constitution. We had an ASB Constitution. So basically it was that everybody was like accountable for their own job and that everybody was successful because every job since an ASB, they all tie to each other because our whole purpose isn't for ourselves but to serve the student body, to make sure that they're here, all us together, like we're all just having a great year with like events and everything. So I think like vision wise, you have to think what is the most effective way that we can work together to ensure that the students have a great year, but then also that we ourselves have done our job. So then we have any ideas.
And really quick, just want you all to notice, we do have 2 newcomers. This is Glenn and Pedro. And I have a great explanation. Can we just kind of enlighten them on what we're doing quickly? 30-second explanation.
yeah.
As a high school ASB, we are coming up with a vision based on our values that we just came up with as a group.
Sorry.
Great.
Cool.
And so she was just explaining what the vision was. So let you continue.
Do you guys have any like thoughts or
So having
questions? Yeah.
having those 4 words that we chose, I think like in order to have like a vision, we should create like a statement, like what's like the ending goal. Like we hope we should all, like for example, I don't know, we should all be accountable in ensuring everybody has a great year. Like that could be one of our missions, or what's like what could be another.
How are you gonna measure it? Just I'm not asking.
No.
Yeah. I feel that when we have done events in the past, that you can tell by the reaction of the student body, but as well as the faculty. So it's more of yes.
Oh, you could finish it.
I was honestly just gonna wing it, but I kind of lost my trail of thought, so you can go.
So since I said, like to have a great year, we could focus like on a specific thing. So maybe like depending, like if we're the whole ASB or just, the class of 2017, we could say, to create awesome senior year events, or to create prom, if we were class of the teen, you know, so just focus like on specific, like a specific thing.
One thing that I'm kind of thinking about is like school spirit, when people like want to come to school versus have to come to school.
Yeah.
So maybe we can measure that in like attendance. It's just like a simple thing. I don't know if that was parents or.
Yeah.
Those minutes were out there, so we just have Justice and Fox 2 more minutes to come up with our agency.
Okay.
Well, was one measuring the pep rallies, you kind of start noticing people start coming to those pep rallies because we like such events, or it start walking away. It's kind of like ignoring, and that just kind of shows that people are not interested. So you don't pass it up.
So it looks like we're talking a lot about like spirit. So do we want to focus on that as a vision? You know, like we want to see more students attend our pep rallies or create a more spiritual environment.
I feel like we create the more spirited environment by showing how much passion that we have as an ASD. Kind of hope that we can like then push that onto the students, because if we as an ASD we don't practice what we preach, that if we ourselves are saying, oh, like I'm only doing this because I have to, like I don't even want to be here, then the students will see that too. So I feel that as a vision we should say that we should practice what we preach, but also try to encourage that spirit factor for our students to also see that, hey, like, you know, we want to do this as well. Like,
Sorry, anything
no.
else? Maybe just something in line with creating spirit, so there's more something, because it ties in spirit and activities, so I hear everybody saying, so some sort of vision that we create as a group, ASB, we create spirit to help our activities or events grow, something in that sort of line, or?
Or how?
Well, I was just thinking, we have these great words that we came up with. What if we tie our spirited activities to it being an inclusive environment?
Yeah.
And kind of throw in that value in our statement. So maybe something like, and we could even include service, like we will be committed to our student body to host inclusive events to develop spirit, like something kind of along
I like
those
that.
lines.
Yeah, like
So
you
service,
okay, so be as an ASD, I feel like we could.
So can you put
Yeah.
Or like committed to student achievement.
So
We as an ASD. Does everybody want to start off that way?
or we could just
Or
like
just
have
say,
like
What would just say we are?
We are, yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it vision, so we will be?
We are.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's
we
just,
are.
yeah,
We are.
never mind.
To survey.
Serve.
You guys can share recommendation.
Through what?
Student achievement.
Through student
Or
achievement.
through student.
Through 20,
Oh,
19,
Through
18,
student pride.
17.
Student pride and.
Maybe achievement and inclusivity and get 3 of our
Oh,
values.
And inclusivity. Through growth or no? Okay. We are committed to serving through student pride, achievement, and inclusivity.
I love it.
Great. That was wonderful. All right, now go ahead and partner up. Lana's going to give you a sheet of paper for each partnership.
So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Did everyone catch that?
Yes.
Cool. So all the.
So while Lana's doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to think about your colors. And I want you to think about what are some action steps, what are some commitments that you can make for your color that is going to take your values and go into the vision statement. So so for instance, for me as a blue, my commitment would be to make sure that I am helping with team camaraderie, or should I say ASB camaraderie, spirit, that I'm helping with motivation. So that's a commitment that I can make as a blue of a strength that I can give. Or if you want to phrase it as though it's something that maybe is something you need to work on, maybe you commit to working on that for the strength of the group. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
So we're doing this for our specific color.
Your specific color, yes. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and give you 1 minute to do that. A commitment that you can make that vision come true.
More markers or?
Oh, do you have the markers over there?
Is that enough for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thanks, Katie. Katie's on top of it. So if you want to consider this, if you're visual and if you want to think about what we're doing is we're going to create the stepping stones to the vision. So we go from our values to our vision. So what are the stepping stones that you can create to help make that vision come true? Or stay on task to the vision? $30 more seconds. And then once you're done, go ahead and stand up, and we're going to create that divide again so we can see.
Stand up, right?
Yeah, go ahead and stand up. So we're going to have a line over here of 4, and then a line over here of 4. Perfect. All right. All right, so we're just going to quickly go through each one. You're going to lay down your stepping stones. So we're going to have 4 steps over here and 4 steps over here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start here. You ready?
Okay, yeah. So I will use my orange skills to use my positivity to bring school spirit and my ability to be outgoing to be more inclusive.
Perfect.
Out of blue, I will focus on relationships, make sure everyone is included and their voice is heard, and I will inspire peers. Also the blue, I will show the students that I hereby learning names and personally even events.
As an orange, on the again, the next side, and it's just like that's a metaphor for that.
Oh, okay, so as a blue, I'm committed to making sure everyone's included, providing support, and making sure we're all on the same page.
As a blue, I am committed by being inclusive, motivating others, and serving for the better of our school / students.
As a gold, I'm committed to being organized with our goals and making sure that we follow through with them.
As a blue, I'm committed to listening and creating a safe place for growth.
That is wonderful. We did class. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see that we've got now our stepping stones that we can commit to making for our vision as a group. Yeah? So Morgan's going to go ahead and take us over in walking us through what did we just do in our debrief.
Great. So we did several steps here. We started with values, vision, and then the bridge. So how do you guys feel this process went of getting from A to B to C? How do you guys feel about what we just did? Selena?
I think once we got our values, it was a little bit easier to see what we wanted out of the vision. Because I feel like if you had just sat us down as a group and said, okay, come up with a vision, it would have been just a mess. So I feel like having our values and knowing that we all agreed on these values was really helpful.
ASB, I could see that everybody had like their own different visions, and that everybody wanted to go different ways. So, just like Selena said, if we were just to get our vision, like just write it down, it'd be complete chaos because everybody would want what they want. But then when we were able to interact and see that we all want the same thing, we were able to like write it more clearly and effectively.
So Ida touched on sort of how we were able to avoid the chaos. What do you guys think helped you avoid this chaos? Do you think your colors played into this, or was it more about group dynamics? How do you think you were able to successfully avoid, group chaos?
I think it has a lot to do with like group dynamics. Like at first we were able to do the A, but then when it came to vision, we were kind of like, oh, but we want this, but we want that, but then we were like, no, but these are like our goals. So like at the end, kind of just came together, like, okay, this is it. So.
I think there were a lot of blues here, so I think there was a lot of morale going on here, so we could all come together.
I was like at the very beginning when we created the values with just the sides. It really made everyone's voices heard, so we like created a common language and common ground from the beginning.
And I also thought it was interesting kind of how we started as a smaller group and progressively got bigger to have a very inclusive vision statement with everyone here. When we originally did the values, it was just 3 of us, and then we met as a bigger group. So I think that made it easier because we kind of started off small and eventually got everyone involved.
Great. So there's been a lot of discussion right here about sort of the steps we take to make sure that everybody's being heard, to make sure that we go logically through the steps and we don't, jump to any conclusions. How do you think as an ASB we could sort of take these lessons and use them when we're not just building a physical bridge with paper, but when we're working on our projects throughout the year?
Since for ASB, like it's freshmen through seniors, so sometimes it's kind of hard because since when we do activities, sometimes everybody's with their classes when we all have to come together. I feel that oh shoot, I just lost it. Yeah, I just lost it, sorry.
That's all right, we can come back. So 1, 2.
I think like maybe creating like a group system. I guess going back to yours, the freshmen to seniors, like they all have their own classes, but then when we all come together, like making sure that the freshmen feel okay, making sure that the sophomores feel okay, like just being inclusive of everybody else, like regardless of the freshmen, sophomores.
I would say that like as an ASB, like a huge part of it is planning activities for the year. So I would say like in the beginning when we are planning our activities, that we're looking back at these like our not only our vision but our stepping stones and making sure that those align with the activities that we're planning.
Any other comments from anybody? All right, well, thank you. I think you guys were really successful in navigating the different steps. We had a lot of different steps, starting with values and vision and everything like that. And it seems like from this discussion we just had that you guys have a lot of takeaways. So hopefully you all are able to remember sort of what we went through today and what you learned from it, and able to use that to sort of help with your success throughout the rest of the summer and your year as ASB. So thank you all for participating.